Is your gut in a rut? How is your intestinal health? It's rather a deep and meaning question, but this time of year, in fact, any time of year when we've had holidays, when we've been traveling, when the weather changes, sometimes our intestinal health isn't quite as perky as it could be. And that tends to affect our overall health and well-being because our gut bacteria is so important in supporting a very strong immune system. And there are lots of different symptoms that we get when our intestinal health and our gut bacteria is not at its optimum. And the dietary dynamos for this are your prebiotics and probiotics. Your prebiotics are found mostly in vegetables, and the probiotics are the live cultures that you find in fermented food. So I'm going to talk about both in this video, but to make you aware of the prebiotics, because I think sometimes we forget about how important they are, because prebiotics and probiotics work symbiotically to really create an amazing intestinal health. And when you have good intestinal health, it increases your mood, good mood. It can decrease your cholesterol. It helps with weight loss. If you've got traveler's tummy or traveler's belly, it helps you get over that. So there's a myriad of health issues that are affected by our gut bacteria. And unfortunately, a high-fat, high-sugar Western diet has very little positive things to promote healthy gut bacteria. If you are eating a diet that is high in plants, that is not processed, that is high in fiber, then you are going to have a much better gut bacteria or healthy gut bacteria than someone eating a diet full of processed food. And the other thing that really affects our gut bacteria this time of year are antibiotics and medications. They really annihilate that healthy bacteria that is so good at keeping us well. Your digestive system is built to fight infection. That's what it's there for, and also to digest food. So it's starting with your mouth. That's the whole point of your digestive system. And 70% of your immune system is actually in your intestines. And I don't think many of us realize that. So when our balance is off, then often our immunity is certainly compromised. So it's important to keep your gut out of a rut. What are prebiotics? Prebiotics are non-digestible carbohydrates, and they're usually soluble fibers. They do not live. And what they do is they ferment in the intestine, and they release a fuel that then allows the healthy, friendly bacteria to thrive. So where would you find a prebiotic? I know you're all asking me that question in your minds, like I've never heard of them. Where would I find them? They're actually most prevalent in chicory root, which I don't think many of us have in our diet, but also Jerusalem artichokes, leeks, dandelion greens, garlic, and raw onions. So all of those raw vegetables are very high in prebiotics, and you need to eat between 1 and 2 ounces of those a day to get the right amount of prebiotics. Now, some of you have done the fast metabolism diet, and prebiotics are actually made up, one of the most common type of a prebiotic is Inulin. And one of my clients had asked me a question about bloating in phase 1. And, you know, phase 1 is a very high in carbohydrates, very high in fruits. And sometimes if our gut bacteria is not good enough to support that digestion, we get that bloating. We get the, we're not balanced, and that's when we tend to hold and get a little bit gaseous and holding on to water. And I actually checked the phase 1 powder for the fast metabolism diet actually has inulin in it, which is a prebiotic, which was interesting to me because I didn't know that. So you want to make sure you get those prebiotics in your diet on a daily basis. The studies out there have shown that it decreases our cholesterol, decreases the incidence of colon cancer. Women, it helps with the uptake of calcium from our diets. It helps you lose weight, and it also promotes satiety. So that feeling of fullness is what inulin gives us, or the prebiotics give us. Now, the probiotics, on the other hand, are live, and they also stimulate the immune system. Probiotics are found in yogurt. They're found in kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha tea, and miso. So those are all things that are fermented, and they have the live probiotics in them. They're also available in capsules form. You need to make sure that when you're buying a probiotic that a lot of them are dairy based or they're milk based. So make sure you avoid a probiotic that is milk based, especially if you're allergic to milk. And the other thing is that because they're live, their potency decreases after time. So make sure you look at the manufacturer's date on the probiotics, because after a while they will not be as effective as they are when you get them when they've first been made. They need to be stored in the refrigerator or in a cold, dark cupboard because once again, they're live. The other thing, probiotics, very good to take when you are traveling. They help with diarrhea. They help also if you're on antibiotics. So these are all things to keep in mind, like I said, especially this time of year. And the other thing that I did find out about was kefir. Kefir has, it's a very milky yogurt. But once again, most of the kefir is dairy-based, as is regular yogurt. And if we're trying to avoid dairy in our diets, which some people are now, there is a product out there called coconut kefir. And when I checked the ingredients, there was no sugar in there. And it's obviously not dairy-based. So coconut kefir, if you can find it, would be a great addition to your daily regimen of just increasing that gut health. So get your gut out of a rut, start fueling yourself with some really healthy prebiotics and probiotics. Start gradually, start adding them into your diet. Remember what they're there to do, and just be mindful of them. It's just something that we can add in that is going to do nothing but promote good health. So if you have any questions, you can call me, but I just wanted to check in with your gut.